So in this video, what we're going to learn is how to dodge and burn. I've already done a full color edit. So I'm going to show you the layers of that. So I had a background copy, I made a retouch layer, and then I just did a very basic levels, brightness, curves, hue saturation edit, which is what our basic edits are for this class. Now I'm going to go to the retouch layer. I'm going to do something called dodging and burning. So dodging and burning is a term that's been taken from film photography. It's where we try to make isolated parts of the photo have lighter values and darker values. So your dodging and burning tools are over here on the left-hand side. Anytime you click down on something, you can see several other tools. So dodging is going to make values lighter, and burning is going to make values darker. It's kind of easy to remember this because when you burn something, it will have like a char or a black area, and so burning darker, dodging lighter. We're going to dodge first, and in most cases we dodge our highlights and we burn in our shadows. So this is my brush here, what you see right here, and I can make it bigger or smaller using brackets that are right by the letter P on the keyboard, or another way I can do it is I can go up to this drop-down menu. I can change the size of my brush here. Also, I can change the hardness of my brush. So while I'm dodging and burning, if I have a really hard brush, what's going to happen is I'm going to see these really rough lines as I edit. So I use a fairly soft brush, somewhere in the 50%. And close that. Now, like I said, we're going to dodge. I want to dodge my highlights, so I need to make sure that I change it to my highlights here. Exposure should be anywhere from 8 to 12%. Sometimes on demos I do it a little higher than that so it's noticeable on the projector. So what I'm going to do here is anywhere where there's a highlight. Now, I want to be careful of areas that are already very light, like over here or on the floor. Anywhere I want to bring out more detail, I can use my dodging brush and kind of paint over little clicks here and there. Bring some highlights back in. Sometimes in darker areas I might paint over just to see if I can grab any of those tones out, if they are anywhere. But I want to be very careful. I don't want to go anywhere over here where it's already pretty bright. A lot of people usually say that they don't notice that this is happening. So one thing that you can do is you can click and deactivate your layer, and you can see that there's evidence that this has been making an effect on your photo. You always want to dodge and burn at the end of your process. So always do this at the very, very end once you're done with all your editing. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to grab my burn tool, and I'm going to burn the shadows. So anywhere where there's a shadow, and I always think it's a good idea to burn shadows. They're next to highlights. This is already dark. I don't want to burn a shadow that's already dark as it needs to be. So I think it's always a good idea to go in areas where we're right next to the lights, and then we can even get more detail. Now here it's getting way too dark. You can hit Command Z and take it away. I just want to be a little more selective. Maybe my exposure is too high too, so I might turn that down a little bit. That's much better. So again, I'm just kind of painting over the areas where there's some dark shadows next to highlights, and that's burning it in, giving us more contrast. Especially on the floor, we might get some more detail come back in the floor. So this is just something you're going to have to experiment with and use a lot until you get used to it. So this is before, and this is after. So that's just a quick demo on how you dodge and burn.